So growing up in my preteen years, I was mostly around women. I remember hearing my mom and my sisters and my aunts all say that I don't want no meek man. That was an expression, from the late 80s that really meant that women did not want to be any way associated with a weak man. And here's something I've realized, that there is a small gap in thinking, but a large gap in action between, the top men who are on the top of their game and who are really women look at and say that's a winner, and losers. Some 9 things that'll help you jump that gap between what weak men do to what strong men do. So let's get at it. So the first thing that men do that make them look weak to women is that they have no ambition. See, if you don't have any ambition and you're not going to be trying to achieve things, then why would a woman want to hitch her wagon to you to take her to the future? Man, you cannot show a lack of ambition. The number 2 thing that men do that make women think this is kind of a weak guy is you let her run all over you and control you. I've listened to men talk about how women control what time that day they woke up, what they wear, when they eat. Dude, you can't do that. You are supposed to be the man, and part of being a man is you don't let anybody in general, and specifically a woman you're in a relationship, run all over you and control you. That is what weak men do. Another thing that weak men do, and when a woman sees it, she will definitely put you in the friend zone or probably even move you out of the friend zone, is that you blame other people for the issues in your life. Men, you have got to take responsibility for yourself and the problems in your life and then work to try and solve them. In fact, guys, I think that that's one of the things that really differentiates a man and a grown-up from a child. You take responsibility for your actions and your problems, and then you actually work to solve them. The thing that guys do that make them look weak to women is that they focus their lives around their woman. I know a lot of us, we think that, hey, if I show her I'm super committed to her and that she's important to me, that'll actually make her like me more. But trust me, man, it just makes you look weak. You look like you have no other options, that she doesn't have to be the best her to actually get you. And you're not even focused on making your life better. You're not showing ambition, and you're not someone that she's worthy to hitch herself to. So don't be too focused on her. Another thing that guys do that make them look weak is that they fall in love way too fast. Now look, I'm not telling you to drag it out for 10, 15 years, but if you are professing your love to a woman after a 30-minute DM, you're just doing it wrong. And that's something that only weak men do and men with not a lot of options. The next thing is kind of similar, and it's being that pick-me guy. You ever seen a woman and she's like wearing this low-cut top and she's like, hey, this looks terrible on me, doesn't it? This is a woman who's fishing for a compliment. And this is the same thing as what a pick-me guy does. He's a guy who fishes for compliments, and he's trying to show you by fishing for a compliment that he's worthy of dating. Don't be a pick-me guy because it looks weak. It shows that you really don't have self-confidence. And if you got to point something out, it's probably not really there anyway. The next thing that guys do is that they are way too sensitive. Now look, it's nothing wrong with being a guy who's in touch with his emotions, some people say. I don't believe that, because I think that men should be far more, 99% of the time, rational and thinking. You're supposed to be the level head in the room. And if your woman wants to be emotional and sensitive, that's fine, but I really don't think that's what men should do. However, if you know the person that you're with, then you can figure out what that level should be. But in general, sometimes guys are too sensitive, and that makes them look weak. You can listen to plenty of women talk about how they respected a man, he cried too much, and that lowers that man in their eyes. Men, you really need to have control over your emotions, not be too sensitive, and yes, even when she's intentionally pushing your buttons. The next thing that makes men look weak to women is when men do not speak their mind. And that's not speaking your mind to your woman specifically, but also just in general. Look, men, you can have your own opinion. especially in a relationship. If you don't like something, if you don't like doing it, if you don't want to do it, speak up and don't do passive aggressive stuff. Just look her in the eye and tell her what you think and what you disagree with about things. And you need to especially do that with your wife, but you also need to get in the habit of carrying that out into the real world, because if she see you not speak your mind in public, she's going to still think less of you as a man, because weak men do not speak their mind. And here's the last thing, and I really think it's something that ties it all together. It is men who do not and cannot lead is something that women think are weak. And if you've not heard me say this before, let me say it now. Men should lead. Men should always lead. And you should be a leader, especially in your relationships, in your community, and at work. And whenever a leader is needed, you as a man should be stepping up, ready to lead and show the way. So gentlemen, here are my 9 tips about things that you do or don't do that make you look weak before women. Gentlemen, you need to figure out what is it in you that's making you not do these things that strong men do. What is it about you that's making you portray all these weak men characteristics and stop doing them? And as I mentioned, I think that the most important thing, and it's all summed up in men who cannot and will not lead. Do you want to learn how to lead? I got a video that talks about it. Check it out, and I'll see you next time.